curious, ambitious, and ready to explore opportunities beyond the dental chair. As dentists, we are trained extensively in clinical excellence, but in today's rapidly evolving healthcare ecosystem, leadership, innovation, and strategic management are equally critical. And that's where healthcare management and informatics step in, offering a broader canvas for us to make an impact in hospitals, public health systems, health tech startups, and policymaking arenas. Today's session to help Today's session is to help you understand how a PGDM can open new meaningful doors for your career. We are honored to have with us two esteemed speakers from IIHMR Bangalore, an institute that has been on the forefront of healthcare management education. Let me take a moment to introduce our speakers. Dr. Isha Maharana, a healthcare professional specializing in marketing, strategy, and partnership. A BDS graduate with a postgraduate diploma in hospital management. She has cultivated expertise across client facing roles, growth verticals, sales, marketing, and pharmaceutical consulting. Her professional journey spans reputed organizations like IKS Health, Red Health, BioQuest Solutions, where she contributed to marketing, business development, client engagement, and market expansion initiatives. Currently, Dr. Maharana is an assistant professor at IIHMR Bangalore, where she leverages her industry insights and academic grounding to mentor future healthcare leaders and foster strong academia industry collaborations. Along with us, Dr. Akash Gajanan Prabhune, whose work focuses on the transformative application of artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning ML in healthcare and oral health. His research harnesses AI and ML to develop predictive models, optimize healthcare delivery systems, and enable early detection of disease. In oral health, he has pioneered AI based screening tools for the identification of oral potentially malignant disorders, integrating deep learning algorithms and community screening workflows. His projects apply machine learning techniques to resource optimization, such as drug procurement and health workforce deployment, and use sentiment analysis for public health surveillance. Through his leadership in initiatives funded by the NHSRC, Gates Venture, and the Government of Karnataka, Dr. Prabhune is advancing data-driven, equitable healthcare solutions that bridge gap in access, efficiency, and quality, particularly in undeserved populations. His work exemplifies how AI can be leveraged for real-world impact in both systemic health reforms and focused clinical innovations in oral healthcare. As the moderator today, I will be asking a series of questions to our speaker where they will share their expert insights and opinions. So, once again, welcome everyone. Get ready for a thoughtful, provoking session. I encourage all of you to engage actively, take notes, and ask your questions towards the end. Let's begin this exciting journey from dentistry to dynamic roles in healthcare management.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naval, for the introduction.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll start with our discussion today.
Absolutely.
So, first question is to Dr. Akash, sir. How do you see the PGDM in healthcare management benefiting BDS graduates in today's evolving healthcare system?
Yeah, I think this is a most common question we face because someone has spent 5 years and even more sometimes um, dedicated to the clinical life, and this is something that comes as a non-clinical. It's understood it's non-clinical, but then the key thing is that it's all about how much investment you're making and what are the benefits that you're getting. PGDM or MBA is critically meant for the private healthcare setup. There is very less, or there is a stakeholder from government, but it's very less. And when we go for industry, it's more focused on churning out, I can say, outcomes. It can be clinical outcomes, non-clinical, whatever. So what happens is that when we talk about healthcare system, technically we would always look at the government setup. That's how the MPH has evolved overall, maybe India, maybe outside. While MBAs look more clinically driven outcomes or even from a profit-based perspective. And since we all dentists from our first year till this thing, they say since our postings, our first is like, to extract more patients to get. So that's where we all BDS guys already know at least have this basic idea about how to make profitability from a practice. We use lesser cements when required. We try to use, so that frugality is bit in it. So it's more of applying that knowledge in a more systematic way. And what has happened in post-COVID in India and even the global is that we are shifting to something what we call in industry as a value-based care. So what value we're providing to the patients beyond the clinical care. And this is where the health management comes into play. The value can be lesser time, faster recovery, or even as simple as lesser waiting time in OPD. And that value eventually adds to the, what can say, better healthcare system because I save a time spending in my hospital, I spend more time in my work or wherever or recreation, what I'm doing it. So that way, the evolution is that our overall health system is moving that we need to optimize and kind of look what value we are creating at every juncture, right? From prevention till the curation. There has been startups who claim that they are doing something called diabetes reversal. The value is very clear. I'm reversing a diabetes which is costing approximately 33 to 40,000 per month to a patient. That is where the thing is there are tech guys, there are other guys who are working, but then the healthcare guys are really required to lead this. The models where tech guys led healthcare transformation has always failed. It is only when the healthcare guys were part of decision making or when they were really leading the project when we have seen things evolve much better. So that's where the gap is very clear to the industry. So industry also prefers that guys who know healthcare or who are from healthcare to come and work with them. So that's really a good space, and that's where BDS guys comes because MBBS guys have different cadre. They usually don't fit in the brackets or requirements, or they're not even flexible to accept that something non-clinical works. So their first priority is MD. Then they go for MS, other things. The BDS guys eventually, or how or I don't know, even me, I'm being the part of that same generation. We realize that it's required to bring in more systems approach, more focus on value out healthcare. So that's where I think when we also send our students for placement, the first guys to be placed is always BDS guys. That's how it has been benefiting all the BDS graduates.
Okay, okay. So my next question to Dr. Isha ma'am is what mindset shift is needed for dentists transitioning from clinical practice to management roles? Isha ma'am, your voice is on mute, I think.
Yes, I was not able to
Yes.
unmute myself due to some technical mistake. Yes. So, when I talk about mindset shift, I think the first thing that we have to do is dentists are, or practicing doctors in general, we are very patient focused. We are on the level of individual patient focusing. And what we need to change is we have to evolve in a professional who is looking for a system-wise impact. There are multiple other things outside the clinic where we practice. So the first thing is to understand what verticals exist. Because speaking from my own experience, and I have spoken to a lot of BDS graduates, and I'm pretty sure you would also agree to it, our knowledge is majorly limited towards the dental courses that we are studying. It's majorly towards the diagnosis and like curing a patient. But if I have to express it in layman terms, you have to start looking at it from, you have to broaden your horizon. You have to have a bird's view look at it. So if I talk about all three people who are here on the screen, Dr. Akash is a tech guy. You are a director of a clinical setup, but at the very same time, you're also an influencer. You are the one who is moderating this panel. I'm a marketer. This happened when we shifted the perspective. Rather than curing one patient at one point of time, getting the understanding of the fact that PGDM or MBA is going to polish and furnish my skills. There is a gamut of different skills that I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn soft skills. I'm going to learn how to present myself in front of the world, in front of the clients that I'm dealing with. What are the different areas which exist and how can a dental professional fit in those gaps and bridge the requirement that is existing between healthcare and tech and all of that?
Correct. Absolutely correct. Dr. Akash, what are the most relevant non-clinical career paths that dentists can pursue after completing the PGDM course at a college?
Okay. If you look at the perspective how our students have been, basically dentists I'm looking at, there are, I guess, the one good thing, dentists fit across the spectrum. So we have four specializations. One is public health, but because it's health. Then there's a hospital. Then there's our health IT, and there's pharma management. The patterns of the year always have shown that any of the spectrum, you go as a dentist, there is always companies who are ready to welcome you. Most common positions in hospital that were like marketing trainee or management trainee was kind of, most commonly sought. But then there's also a shift where they're looking more in terms of HMI's executive. They're looking at the compliance. They're looking at the regulatory part. They're also looking at from a perspective of quality. The NABH has become much of the more larger industry that many hospitals want to enroll to showcase that they are aligning with the standard. So NABH becomes one of the key segment. If you kind of take a hospital as specialization, that is one segment. Then new emerging area is sustainability for hospitals. Again, that's a new area where dentists are working very much on that. In health IT, you have roles like MIS executive, HMIS implementation. These are the roles where you are the guy who is working with a tech team, but who also knows the lingua franca of the doctor. So it's like a bridge, because tech guys speak their own language, doctors speak their own language. The bridge is always the guys who know healthcare. So that's perfectly fit with dentists, because we know how to convince patients, we know how to talk with our dealers. So that is where you also fit in well.
Correct.
Then there is a entirely small but highly beneficial and competitive segment called as the interoperability engineers. This is one area where very few people really are able to enter, because it requires highly skills, but the rewards are very, very high because they pay you in dollars. It's approximately, the starting salary goes up to 24-25 lakhs, but then it requires that skill and that kind of development. From pharma perspective, there is something called as product management trainee. There is something called as the again that is for the what we can say, starting of the program. But then you also have regulatory clinical research part. We had dentists who go as a market intelligence training, where they look at the drug over a scenario and then come out with some of the findings. Then there are consultant positions, there are positions for market research, which is kind of focusing on those. But then the good thing, you fit everywhere. And in AI, there have been few companies that have been investing on radiology for huge. The companies are investing on X-rays, MRIs. Now they also want to pivot into dental X-ray segment, and that is where we are seeing our students are more preferred, because
They have a
CBCT is
dental background.
correct. The only guy who can interpret CBCT is a dental guy,
Dentist.
and CBCT is interpreting one, but training the machine to understand that's only you skill get when you learn as a dentist the AI part. So that's where again there's a super specialization that you get if you kind of enter in that segment. I think many of you guys know Scano. There is something called as Vital Viewer. They all are trying to enter into this high value dental field. So that's one more area. Also in AI, there is a largest fragment that we are also looking is more in terms of the machine explainable AI part, where some you build in the algorithm to explain how AI came with the output. In healthcare, that has been pattern where many of the dentists were actually writing blogs for 1mg, that how this medicine works. Same thing you're doing, but for different. So that's again a high paying role that is built up. And then you have insurance companies, which again, there are tech insurance. There is something called as health claims exchange and the ABDM. So that's one segment again where lot of BDS are working. Like if you go to NHO office, you'll see 90% BDS consider working there. So that's kind of penetration we have as a dentist in the public health and even the segment of healthcare management.
Correct. Let's come to the next question. Dr. Isha, can you explain the difference between hospital management and public health management, and which one may suit a BDS graduate better?
Absolutely. So, both the programs that you mentioned are IIHMR's flagship program, Hospital Management and Health IT, Pharmaceuticals and Public Health. So, when I talk about hospital management and public health, as the name suggests, hospital management speaks about the internal administration. How does a hospital work? What is the patient workflow? How does the process flow work? HR, finance, administration, front office, all those departments. So it is more of a structured process that you have inside a hospital. And currently, with the boom that we have, there are multiple major hospital chains that are there. So they have a very, very suave process flows all across their chains. And when I talk about public health, currently that is also something which the country is really, really working on. And if I have to put it across in layman terms, it's working on policies on a grassroots level. So, answering the second part of your question, what is apt for a dental student? So, I'm going to say a slightly controversial statement, and I'm aware that a lot of MBBA students are also there. This is something that I have seen. It's personal opinion. This is something that I have seen that dental students actually fit perfectly in all these verticals. An MBBS student might have a different liking, their skill sets might fit into a different thing, but a dental student will fit beautifully in all these verticals, be it the flagship program or the AINDS program. Couple of the pointers have already been explained by Dr. Akash. I'll just reiterate it. Since the very start, profitability is something that we have to learn. Since the very start, we are also aware of dealing with difficult patients. So soft skill is something which is instilled in us since the very start. And also, majority of the dental graduate population can be termed or categorized under the, like field hustler. We hustle a lot. All of us are aware of the dental situation, the mushrooming of dental colleges out there. And a different field was required. And PGDM in all these healthcare management verticals, that is one really good solution which has come up. And thus we fit beautifully everywhere. And if I have to talk about both these areas, I would like to say one pointer which can help the students to probably make better decision. If you want to continue working in a hospital setup, but not in a clinical or a practicing capacity, and you want a structured process flow. You want to still continue dealing with patients, but in a different capacity altogether. Then hospital management could be a very good option for you. And coming to public health, if you are somebody who is extremely interested in the policy making, how our country, how, like domestically or on a global level as well, how is the government working? How is the health system working? If that is something which excites you and you want to start working on the policy building, you want to start working from the grassroots level and understand what can be done at the very first stage. How can we promote preventive? If you are interested in doing something of that sort, then public health is going to be your cup of tea. But having said all of that, I strongly feel that we fit everywhere beautifully. It is just a matter of our choice. Where do we want to go? Where do we need?
Correct. Dr. Akash, what are some key subjects or modules in the PGDM program of our college that are especially useful for someone with a dental background?
Yeah, I guess, see, I will not go subject wise because even that we have a list of subjects, but I'll focus on the skills that would really help them. What happens, and this is even my personal experience, is that when we come from a clinical setup and try a non-clinical thing, first thing we hate maths. That is why we are as joint dentists. Like many of us here
Yes, me too.
would have never taken 10th and 12th as a math because we left that and we went to the healthcare. So, but then management has a tell, and that tell is called as statistics and analytics. Mind you, that statistics or analytics will be there till you retire if you are taking management, because it's at the end of the day, some numbers. You can do patient numbers, you can do financial, whatever, but numbers would be there. So statistics, data analytics are the key subjects that will make you much, much more competitive. The thing is that it's very basic maths, and luckily the chat gpt, Gemini, you throw any LLM, they would help you a lot nowadays than what we were doing back in 2016. We're using some space data to just build a data set. So the things have become much simpler. But as a dentist, we will have that wall of kind of, I don't know how to call it, a bit more of a tension that, I wanted to escape maths. So I came in dentistry and now again I do. So that is one thing that all dentists that I have met had the same experience, but some of them really do well once they understand techniques. So that is one thing that statistics, healthcare analytics will be there, and you need to master that. Without that, you will not be able to succeed in the management role. The benefit also is that it gives you much more kind of freedom to work on that. And luckily, with machine learning and other things coming in, the pay scales for these skills is much higher than your normal regular management skills. The second set of skills that again most dentists have been able to kind of look at, and we are trying to push also because that's IHMR is only institute which train deeply into interops, is Python. That's completely coding, but then it's a smart coding we do with machine learning and your LLMs. But then you need to understand how Python, Power BI works, because that really is required if you want to climb up the ladder in corporate. However, you might hate coding, however, you might be unaware, the 2 years will train everyone, but without Python, surviving in management or even going future, the famous quote, AI will not replace you, someone with AI will replace you, knowing AI.
Yes,
That
yes.
would you should be the person who should know AI. And to
Yeah.
know AI, you need Python. So Python is one thing that as a IHMR Bangalore, we are focusing or forcing everyone student to take it. You should at least know basically that read csv.py, that code, which is you read a file from Python and process, because that skill is going to stay for long till the AI hype is. So that is second skill. Third would be your other skills, like how to work around writing a good report, how to make your PPTs, how to present your finding. Many students, and as a dentist, we might have done some seminars in our college, but then it was a small scale. It was focused on clinical things. Here the things are numbers, the data. And what we fail is that we fail to present data as a story. We present data as facts and figures. You might have 100 rupees loss in a clinic, but saying that I spent 100 rupees to get some benefit and making a story out of it is what corporate requires. So how to interpret data and findings to make a story is another skill that is much more required. And we have done it, but we never try to present it well. And then comes the skill that works on understanding the regulatory environment and communicating with the diverse stakeholders. This is where again you don't talk only with doctors here, you talk with a list of people. So openness, understanding their requirements, understanding how to convince them. Mind you, and I'm saying it openly, is that the most miser people live in healthcare. Your doctors will never pay out more than 1 rupee to anyone. So
Correct.
it's very difficult business to crack. And once you kind of the corporates also are run by some doctors, so convincing them, negotiating with them, these skills would be required, and they are not directly part of curriculum. You need to evolve on that, work with your peers, work with the faculty. That is the effort that anyone needs to put if you are planning for PGDM, because that will give you the edge to get better salary, to get a better company. Or else you can still, there are jobs. There's no question of jobs. But then the thing is that those jobs also, the good jobs require a set of good skills, and these are the common skills, soft skills. So that's I think the one thing. Other than that, generally what are AICT approved programs are there, like strategy, organization behavior. Those are all part of the management, which train you as a person who understand management. That's the completely focused on how Indian NEP is working. So that's the kind of summary of this thing.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Dr. Nahul, I
Yeah,
see that there are a couple of questions which have popped up in the chat. Is it okay if I answer them right away?
we can answer them at the end of the presentation if it's okay with you.
Sure, that also works. No
Yeah,
worries.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Dr. Isha ma'am, how does IHMR Bangalore support practical exposure such as internships or industry projects for PGDM students?
Okay, I'll give you a real life example of that. I am an alumni of IIHMR Bangalore. I have graduated from here I am from the 2019 to 21 batch. So I joined college somewhere in June, if I'm remembering it correctly. And within 1 month, I was able to sit an interview for a live project which had come on the campus. And it was regarding a diagnostic machine, state of the art equipment, and I got a chance to work with them. So soon after I started my college, I was also working for a live internship. And then we also have a 3-month STP program where we get to actually learn what is happening out there in in a practical manner. We get to see how things work outside the books. What are the gaps? We uh, how exactly we understand the product or the service, and whichever area we are working in, we get to understand the nuances of it. So I believe that this industry exposure that we get, that is the very first step in understanding how corporate functions. So other than this 3-month STP, we also have internships and observerships and all of that. So because of this, whichever area that you have chosen, the STP, internship, and this observership, it gives you a practical exposure. And along with that, IHMR Bangalore has a very exciting industry immersion program kind of a thing going on. So along with the theoretical classes that the students are having, along with the modules which are being taught, there is a provision that we also invite industry experts to talk about it. So we are ensuring that while we are providing them this education, which is there in the book, we are teaching them about processes. But at the very same time, we also ensure that when these industry experts they come in, they are also teaching them about the gaps. They are also teaching them about the fact that whatever we are learning in the book, there will be more to it when we go outside. There will be an entire process of learning and unlearning and all of that. So, along with the theory, the practical approach is also taken. So, industry and academia they go hand in hand. Just recently, we also had a conclave which was majorly around pharma, so pharma industry conclave. So, we had invited multiple academicians and industry experts for this to understand what more can the institute do so that we can gap if at all, we can bridge if at all there is any gap between the academia and the industry. So these are certain initiatives which college keeps on taking on a regular interval so that our students are also future ready, they are corporate ready. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, yes, it does. Dr. Akash, could you share a real life example of a dentist who transitioned into a successful management role after PGDM?
Well, there are many. I will tell you one student who in particularly is from, I would say, she was very much engaged in, I would say, clinical things, and she even did MDS, pedodontics, if I'm correct. Yeah, yeah, she did MDS in pedo also. So the main reason for her to kind of shift was that one was that after even completing MDS, she was finding it difficult to kind of get the required consultations from the other parents. One was she was married, she came from north to south. So that was the change for her. And putting that resources extra to set up her own consultation practice, she kind of thought that let us try out the PGDM. So when she came, there was one issue that she had a MDS already. That's a degree that is master's level. And then she was sitting with people who were already doing masters. So but then there was two things that kind of uh, helped helped her, or always helps dentists, is that we know the clinical things very well. Pharmacology also helps a lot because pharma industry loves dentist. I don't know why, from where this has came, but if you are the dentist who has a PGDM or MBA want to apply for pharma industry, they will prefer you over any pharma graduate, or in case they will also prefer, that's a quote, but then sometimes over MBBS for two reasons. You come for cheaper than MBBS, and you know much better than a pharmacist. So that's the gap that you always fill. So she had been interested in pharma management, but then she was also looking at hospital things. So when she kind of initially started, she uh, took a time to understand analytics, everything. But by the end of first year, she was doing much better in terms of presentations. She even went on and presented things in a conference, won an award there. That really boosted the confidence. The thing is that there is an academic part which teaches you how to do things, but there's also this external interactions. Like we sponsored her to go to Delhi and get the presentation done. She went and did it. It was a small change for kind of IHMR to spare her, but then that experience gave her the enough courage that she can survive this industry. Then she became more bold. She went and had a debate competition in Madras Medical Association with IIMs and IIs, the great other guys standing there, and they won a debate there regarding it was regarding human resource. But then that's how the confidence built up. And now she's already got offer from Deloitte for around, I don't remember correctly, some 12 lakhs or something. So that kind of confidence was brought in because one is the academics works their own, I can say, symmetric pathway. You start from A to and B, but the industry interactions you do, the confidence boost you get when you talk with other people, when you talk to industry, when you move, do some extracurricular things, not the the dance and other things, but you kind of go and speak to industry. Bangalore has its best advantage. We are as close as to startup industry as anyone can be in India.
Yes.
Really, there are hundreds of startups that sprung at every day, and you just walk out in Bangalore, anywhere, and you will find someone is coming in a startup. The thing is, you need to kind of have that mentality to speak with them. People would be open to speak, and that will really build in a lot of kind of character as a person. I really think my experience as a dentist was that, we never had to run to get a patient, but we had to find a patient for our exam setting. So that itself makes you kind of, open to talk to people. It's all about communication. It's all about understanding how to interact. Yes, there would be someone would flatly say no to you. It's again a skill to kind of digest no's from the people. But then that is what at the end the entire corporate thing works. So that benefit, and then once you grow in industry, it takes what it's what it says, first job that gives you edge. So whatever you get first job, you can build from there. So many of our alumni who are dentists, they have started their own startups. They have worked, now they are working at a VP or other roles. So that growth is there. It's only thing that you have to kind of engage with the opportunities, find the good things, and you can work around that.
Correct. Dr. Isha, what challenges have you seen dental graduates face during this career shift, and how can they prepare themselves?
Understood. So I'll start with my statement. Dental graduates usually fit beautifully in all these verticals, but yes, definitely there is this unlearning which has to come from an individual only mentality. What they have to unlearn is that focusing on one patient from a curative perspective. Here they have to start looking at things from a broader level. They have to start communicating well, be it internal communication, external communication. A set of soft skills needs to be learned. Other than that, strategy acumen has to be inculcated. So the major thing that they have to do is that the view that they previously had was pretty narrow. The major thing which needs to be done is open it up. And other than the theoretical experience that they are getting, other than the practical experience also that they are getting, something which I usually suggest is having an overview of the entire healthcare scenario, understanding what is going on outside, current affairs, static affairs. How does health work? How does healthcare budgeting work? What are the particular areas? Because majorly, so a lot of BDA students reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. They have multiple questions about it. And what I see is that they are not very much aware of all the job roles that they can get. So that is the first thing. Understanding the areas. There is product management, there is project management, there is hospital administration, there is multiple rules and policies, NABH consulting, quality. There are multiple areas where they can learn and they can get experience and they can fit in. But the major problem is the lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge, lack of exposure. So my suggestion usually to all these students and to all these students who are planning to join the course is basically first to get some knowledge about it. We are living in the times where we have very easy access. Everything is out there on the net. Learn about it, understand about it. We only need to understand the basics. We only need to know that these are particular areas which are out there and we might like this one better than the other one. And then courses like the ones that we have, they help because they are training you vigorously for 2 years. They are making you understand what exactly goes through in a corporate setup and how can a healthcare student, somebody who is from a healthcare background, medico, from allied healthcare, how do they fit in? What is the kind of skill set that they might need to learn? So these kind of courses, they actually polish and furnish them so that they can go ahead and get back those roles. Those are there.
Absolutely correct. Dr. Akash, how does a PGDM in healthcare management compare with an MBA when it comes to long-term career growth for dentists?
Well, there is no difference technically. It's the same, just a different terminology. And that is because the weird way Indian regulatory in education works. So if it's a UGC which is granting accreditation to degree, it's a MBA. If it's AICT which is granting accreditation, it's PGDM. The good thing with AICT is that since it's an engineering kind of thing, council, they are more industry aligned. So if you look at the curriculum of MBA, or technically there is what do I call it, MHA or that term. There are 4 semesters and very focused on having 4 or 5 subjects in each semester with electives. That's standard master's program which you have. That's a UGC completely. AICT offers this freedom that I can include industry internship, I can include industry observership, I can have value-based courses. So that freedom is what AICT really gives, and that's why our programs are AICT accredited, because if I want to work with industry, I better go with the course that is aligned with the industry requirements. The first question anyone sitting for the interview from our campus they ask is like, tell me what you did in your internship, not the dental industry, but the internship you get in the PGDM, because they need to understand how you face the industry, what interaction you had them. So it's preferred that if you want to work with industry, maybe hospital, whenever you go with PGDM, because you get that edge of first hand experience or dipstick experience with the industry doing STPs and other things. Many of our guest faculty are actually the ones who teach, or who, sorry, who teach here are actually also part of industry. So they bring that experience, which is not um, kind of that common in your MHA, or to some extent they do in MBA, but kind of it's a different way that they do it. So that's benefit we get with PGDM.
Okay. Dr. Isha, are there any opportunities in government or international healthcare sectors for PGDM graduates from a dental background?
Oh yes, definitely there is. So once a student with dental background does this course when they are PGDM in one of these specialization, specifically probably public health and health management and hospital management. So there are multiple opportunities in the government sector as well. They can work in one of these government hospitals as hospital managers, and they can get into operations and quality. Then there are certain healthcare management roles which keep on opening up on government sites. They can also reach out to them. And when I talk about global, we already have certain global organizations who are coming to us for placement. Burji from Dubai, from UAE is one of the major hospital recruiters which come to us. And there are multiple alumni of us who are working, who probably started their career in India itself, but then their work and the degree, it took them to abroad in multiple places.
Okay. Dr. Akash, what role can a dentist play in health tech startups or digital health platforms after pursuing this program?
Yeah, I think that's a very pertinent question, because many of the dentists actually come with saying, like, how we kind of integrate with the health tech startup. So there are 3 levels, what we say. Um, it depends upon the experience that you bring as a dentist. One starts as a fresher. So if you're a fresher, the roles vary. One is that you start from customer acquisition to business development. That is the role that your customer facing role. The other role would be in terms of the tech management, tech development, tech kind of enablement, where you kind of talk with the engineers and work on the product side. But then that is where again you need to have the the confidence to understand their language. But then those roles are also offered. There is also a third segment where you, and this has been a kind of hidden thing in industry, that lot of Indian health tech startups are actually a process and kind of management centers for US healthcare. So processing their insurance files, processing their EMR, EHR data for HIPAA compliance, all those things are done by some of the startups here. So there you get roles as a as a data engineer, or as a tech manager, or tech manager still later, but then that you can also get interops engineer, interops, or sometimes you get something as HL7 interface engineer. So interface building. So that some of the roles are much more common in this third segment. But as you grow in the ladder, by fourth or fifth year, you should be in a comfortable manager position. No one will start as a manager when you are as a fresher. That I think some people have this kind of misunderstanding that if you do MBA, you'll get a manager role. No, that doesn't happen in industry. You need to prove your metal there. So you'll all start as an executive, as a trainee, as a development officer, as a kind of base first line roles. You have to spend some time understanding your customers. It can be a hospital, it can be patient. There are multiple roles, quality, other things, but then those roles are different, and then you gradually grow in that segment. The only thing is, as a dentist, you will have faster growth if you are able to prove that you are worth it. There has been cases where people have grown much faster. We had seen some students who were dentists who it was COVID, I think, but then they grew from 5 lakh LPA to tier 12 lakh LPA. That scope came for them. But now it's a bit difficult considering the global situations. But then if you start with 5 or 6 LP also, the growth till 10 LP would be difficult. After that, it's a much smoother ride for you. So, but then yes, the roles are mostly either in terms of managing customer, managing customer can be patient or can be an industry, looking with them or kind of contribute to your tech team. There is also some large growth coming in terms of consulting with government, preparing kind of working with the policies and other things. So that's one again small segment. ABDM compliance, other things are should be there.
Okay. Dr. Isha, how important is soft skills training like communication, leadership, problem solving in the PGDM journey?
Extremely critical, extremely. So, as I have been stressing this in my conversation since the very start, that communication is the key. Be it technical communication, be it intrapersonal or interpersonal communication. It is extremely important for a PGDM or an MBA student to be able to present themselves and their thought processes in a very calculated and a strategic way. So this is one thing that is must, because I also see that a lot of students are asking about the same thing. What extra skills should they have so that they can become a good management student? Communication is the key. You have to have the depth and the understanding of the subject that you want to process and you want to talk about. You have to articulate your words in a very good manner so that there are less to nil chances of assumption or misunderstanding, so that your work gets very well optimized and streamlined. So communication definitely is extremely important for it. And these are certain soft skills that some all these students have to learn, because in a clinical setup, there we are with the patients, and we don't have to interact with our patients during the process. Definitely before and after we have, so we do have a base of it. But when we are working in a corporate setup, there are multiple teams, there are multiple cross-functional team collaboration that we have to do. There are multiple internal stakeholders who are there, external stakeholders who are there. So communication becomes a very integral part of your day-to-day operational activities. So when that is the case, then soft skills also come into picture. How do you present yourself? How do you make sure that if at all there is any convincing required, how are you convincing the other person? If at all there is any idea, how are you articulating it so that the other person understands it and absorbs it? So communication and soft skill definitely are on the top 5 first skill list that you have to absorb, you have to learn, and you have to become proficient in if you are choosing this particular field.
Dentists usually fit into this category because we
We do,
usually
yes,
talk.
we
Our
do.
work is to talk to patients when they are awake and doing all those treatments. Yeah,
Absolutely. So we are already there. We just have to go to another 2 levels.
correct. Dr. Akash, with AI and data science being integrated into healthcare, how can dentists upskill themselves to stay relevant?
Okay, I think there this concept of what can I say, AI being irreplaceable is now getting much more common. The thing is that if I look from the perspective of healthcare, there are three types of what can I say processes. One is digitization, where I start shifting from paper records to computer records. I think many of us have, as a practicing people, also have done that. We were using those film-based X-rays. Now we went to RVJ. So that's a small steps that we're doing. I think maybe our appointments are becoming now digitalized. So digitized, I would say. Then the second step is you go to digitalization, where you start integrating everything. Instead of using different apps for everything, you make a one single system for that. And the third is that you see digital transformation. And that is where all these interconnected systems work perfectly fine. That's how we define digital transformation. Even in your practice or even everything, there would be kind of need for two things. One, to understand what is the value of that the tech. So we use something called as TAM principle, or technology acceptance model principle. It says that, is the tech usable for me? We had a tech which would take 25 seconds to just load. That's completely unusable. So that's one thing. So you need to evaluate that from that perspective. Is the tech usable for me, for my practice or not? Second, is this tech easy to use compared to my existing procedures? Writing a prescription on pen and paper is absolutely fine. I can do it in a minute. But if I'm integrating a smart system to prescribe, it will take more time, but it will benefit that my errors would come down. So that how it's easy to use and making it easy is also one thing. So that's one thing. And how I can intend to use it for a long time. It's same thing how we shifted from our basic phones to smartphones. It was not easy for customers, but then the tech was better. So even as a dentist, we have to look from that perspective. Is my practice going to benefit? Is my overall work going to improve? It's the nominal gains that we can see as a layers that how can we capture. So that's I think the key thing that we need to look ease of use, um, how kind of acceptable it is for me as a dentist to include it in my practice, and basically just understanding that it is adding value or not to my practice. That's the key things, and that only comes when you start making decisions, looking at things more pragmatically, looking from business perspective, looking from how much I can gain. So that's I think that the shift that you need to do minor. But then that's I think also becomes much more easier when you are looking at a larger operations. The smaller clinics, things it's very simple. You're very focused. And yeah.
Okay. Dr. Isha, how does PGDM program foster networking and industry linkage that can benefit students professionally?
So this was one pointer that I wanted to take to while I was discussing the Q&A. That was basically how does this program help you? Because networking is the key. Meeting the right people at the right time is the key. So what IIHMR does, I have mentioned, the academic and industry immersion activities that keep on going on. There are multiple conclaves that are being organized by the college. Along with that, there are multiple seminars and webinars that students are motivated to participate in. So if I have to name few, recently there was a Gao Tech event, there was a Bangalore Tech Summit and the Pharma Conclave that we also arranged. So these are certain programs where we also want the conferences and all the activities to be student driven. That is one major thing. We have the resources, we can do them ourselves, that's not the problem. But the thing is when it's student driven, students, they get to learn all of these things in a very practical manner. They get to be on the organizing team. It also brings in that fire that they need, that yes, this is something new that we are working. Specifically, when students are coming from a medical setup, our colleges and the things which go, they are very different. But life in a management college is very dynamic. There are multiple activities that the students have to be involved in. So these are certain places where students get to network. Other than that, we also have guest lectures from industry experts. We also have multiple sessions by them. And if I talk from a training perspective, definitely students do need some sort of hand-holding in the beginning because LinkedIn is something which we have gotten accustomed to after we join an MBA college or if we are somebody who is somewhere in the business and profitability area. Usually medical students may or may not use it so often. So teaching them, training them about how to present themselves in the outside world, how to brand themselves, that is another thing that we teach them. So they are getting enough exposure with the industry and that is how they're networking. They are getting skills that they require to connect with the right people. So I usually tell my students that not everybody is going to be a decision maker in a company. Whenever you're reaching out to somebody on LinkedIn, somebody will be a mentor, somebody will be a guide. So this is another thing which the students learn, how to identify which networking, what kind of networking is going to be useful for us. And by networking, I don't just mean the passive networking that we connected once, but how to actually build on it. how to understand collaboration, how to understand brand building, how to understand the fact that they might have some requirement which can fit your profile and vice versa, or both the parties can come together to collaborate something new. Healthcare is booming. And to shape the future of healthcare, we require all these parties to come together and collaborate. And networking is the key. So that is one thing which we really focus on. And if I have to give my example, the internship opportunity that I received was via networking. They came to the campus, and if I see my network today, it's a lot of via happening. It's basically a string going around. And even when I was working, I have changed few job profiles, and all these jobs that I have got, I never had to go out and search for another one. I always had somebody or the other in my network, and I was in touch with the right people, and because of that, I always had ample options. And this is something which I have seen with my other batchmates also. As long as you're networking well in the right area with the right people, you will always have ample options of idea transfers and different innovations. Plus, it will also help you in the job market.
Correct. So we are on to our last question. This last question is we need insights from both of you. What one piece of advice would you give to a dentist or a dental student who is confused or anxious about their career options beyond dentistry?
Okay. Should I start, sir?
Yeah, fine, no issues.
Yes. So, the very first thing is, and this I speak from experience, don't consider your graduation stream as a liability, use it as your technical weapon. If you marry your undergraduate and postgraduate stream, and this stands true for all verticals, I'm not just talking about dentistry, I'm talking about all verticals, I'm talking about all undergraduate subjects. There is something or the other in all those verticals which you can utilize very well when you are studying healthcare management. So that is one major thing. And this is again one piece of information that I usually talk, that all those people who are listening to this webinar and all those people who have participated are the ones. So in every batch, in every typical batch, we will have somebody that we will know from the very start that this person is going to start a clinic of their own. There will be one person we know that they might already have, like a setup, and they will go and join it. Then we would know that okay, this person might become a faculty one day. Then there would be few who are not aware what they want to do, and then there will be few who have this ick that I like it, I am good at it, but I also want more. And I have seen that healthcare management course, the courses that we have mentioned, this is for that particular bunch who are good at what they are doing. They can definitely make their business profitable, but they have this ick that I am meant to broaden my horizon. There are certain more things that I'm supposed to do. I want to look at healthcare from a broader perspective. This particular course is for them. So recognize that ick in your head and work on it, because that is basically your inner conscious telling you that there is more. Dentistry is giving you one particular area, but there are many more options outside. Recognize it, work on it. Somebody in the chat box had also asked about this thing, that what should they do to improve it, or like what should they do so that their resume builds, so that they can get admission. You start working on it right away. Whatever you are presenting, whatever you are doing in your graduation stream, in your college, you start broadening your horizon, you start building your communication skills, you start improving your technical skills, you start reading, you start being aware about whatever is going outside in the healthcare world. Be open, keep your eyes open.
So having more research papers in your resume, can it help?
It can definitely help, but at the very same time, I don't want the students to be disheartened who don't have any research history, because you will get that opportunity to do it here also. It's a good to have skill, definitely. But even if you don't have it, even if you have inclination towards it, these 2 years, these are your battleground. You will come here, you will talk to different sort of faculties, you will talk to different sort of researchers, and then you can build on it.
Dr. Akash?
Yeah, I think what Dr. Isha said is absolutely correct. But I will tell from my experience and why I really shifted from clinical dentistry to non-clinical, whatever to call it. It's a different naming nomenclature, but it's basically the finances and the maths behind it. See, when I graduated, I tried practicing for 1 year, and it's perfectly fine to kind of explore. There is no any question on that. But if I do the basic maths, and that's what I also understood. If I graduate today, that is to 25, 25, what we can say in this thing. If I want to put in a money into clinic, it would cost at least 10 lakhs, maybe in a tier 2 city, tier 3 city. Even you can do it in Bangalore also, but then location wise. And then your expenses also start from that point. You have to pay the rent, you have to pay for everything. There is a chance that you will earn much more from what you invested, because dentistry is a game of all about how you present on your work. So that is never the missing opportunity, but it's more of how much you are ready to take that risk. In my perspective, I couldn't offer more than 2 years of risk of running sitting in the clinic and kind of waiting for me to recover that cost. So from that perspective, putting in 10 lakhs, 8 lakhs, if you can spend another 2 lakhs waiting for 1 year and then recovering that, if that feels difficult for you, then it's understandable that maybe you should go to non-clinical because of two things. Your investment return on investment starts very fast. The first salary for many dentists here at least starts from 40K in hand, okay, and goes as high as something around 90 to 20 or 1.20 kind of that range. So once you graduate, you will be earning money. And somehow now we as a dentist, we already have seen that it's very difficult to get that kind of financial freedom if you are not earning money. So that is one segment where you should look at your finances and your return on investment. I and MDS, it's not that you should not do MDS. That's completely your decision. But again, if you think that you need to spend 30 lakhs of the money that your parents have hardened, and then again have a lead period, like 3 years you're investing, and then another one period to invest, and you feel that's burdensome, then think back. It's better to go to PGDM, because the idea is that you might spend 7 8 lakhs water fees and some amount here, but in next 1.5 year, not even 2 years, because 1.5 years is when you really start going to industry and earn some money, you'll get those. You'll start in getting money back. The worst case situation is that you will get a low paying job. That's the worst case. There's never a situation, at least in last 10 years, where healthcare MBA guy has gone without a placement offer. May it in IIHMR Bangalore, wherever you go, because the field is growing so fast. The CAGR, or whatever to call it, the growth rate is at least 21% annually growing. So that expansion is very fast. So in that ways, you will always get a job. The only thing is, you have to, if you're getting low paid job, you have to scale up and work and grow there faster. That's but otherwise, if you compare to the time to get return on your investment as a dentist doing clinical and as a non-clinical, I would, at least that was my personal thing. My wife is still practicing dentist, and she was adamant she will never do the PGDM. She had that kind of say, I would say, the time, and she had a luxury to wait for 2 to 3 years to set up a clinic and work in that, and then
Right.
start getting money. But many of you might not have. Then think again, like you really want to invest. There is absolutely no wrong in any decision. It's just that what is your risk taking and waiting capacity. Mine was not, so I went this. My all the friends who I did my postgrad with, even my friends were doing graduations. Many of them are doing successful in dentistry. No question on that. That's dentistry will always feed you, no question. But then it's how much you're ready to wait for getting your money back. It can be anything, but then if you're able to sustain, go ahead. There's no question on that. If not, then think the PGDM is one option. There are multiple other things in life that you can do, but don't keep on keeping the things, ho jayega unplanned, because that will cause a lot of more agony and pain to you. That's the thing what I would prefer, because at the in India it's all about how much you get return on investment.
Correct, correct.
Because we're, yeah.
And then deciding after 6 years into clinical practice, then getting into PGDM can be a little bit difficult.
It's more kind of troublesome, because then you have that always duality. Should have been one more year spent, maybe I would have succeeded. It's better to start right off there is no one going to stop you to practice on your own. I still go in my wife's clinic and do a extraction if it is required. There's no one going to stop me because I have a degree and I'm still certified dentist. It's thing that it's just to kind of the the way doing it. So that way you will still be able to practice if the crisis comes, but another COVID aa gaya, still you have these options to kind of revert back. That you have a B plan always. It's a kind of creating multiple options. But then
Correct.
yeah, I think the benefit with non-clinical for dentists is that you will have lesser lead time. Even if you do MDS 3 years, even if you do your clinical investment plus vetting and without guarantee, at least IV, be it IHMR, meet anywhere. Healthcare management has seen a lot of growth. Jobs are there. It's only how you kind of, where you run, what you learn, and how you get that right offer.
Correct. Can we go ahead with the questions on the chat box if some are unanswered or some needs any
Definitely, Dr.
clarification?
Naval. Yes. So I want to start with a couple of questions. One is, although it has been answered, I still want to talk about it regarding the placement offers and the usual salary package that we get. So I am going to give all the participants a range. The average placements that we see ranges from 7 LPA to 24 LPA. So this range is good enough to give everyone an understanding of how an average placement look like and how the top placement can also look like. So rest, it depends upon you. What are you bringing with you and what you are going to put in for these 2 years. The range is very wide and the world is your oyster. And so speaking, I'll just add one small personal detail also. So the amount that I started with, in 6 months it was double, and in 2 years it was somewhere around 4 to 5 times. That happened because the skill sets that were given to me during the college time, the brand that the college had established, the first job, it depends on that. And I got a very good start. And after that, whatever practical applications that I had put in, it helped me, and that really helped me to grow. The other question that I'm seeing very frequently is it okay if it has been a really long time after graduation? Basically about gap years. So just to give you an idea, the age range that we have over here, the demography is very wide. You will have fresh graduates, 21, 22-year-old as well. You'll have married females who took a break, a maternity break, who were not working for some time. Professionals who have worked in the corporate field for some time, but then they decided to come upskill them. I also took a major long gap. 1 year I was practicing, couple of other years I was working with the corporate company. After that, I decided to come join. So it's the gap year actually does not matter a lot. It basically is what you are bringing with you, what is the kind of hard work and grit that you are bringing with you. That's it. Sir, do you want to take some questions?
Yeah, I think I will take this question about someone asking more about AI and data science.
Yes.
And I just want to have this kind of forum to talk more about this. So the the philosophy that we launched this program of AI and data science for healthcare was very simple. That healthcare guys should lead the AI for healthcare. It has been seen because AI was already a custody of tech guys. So a lot of times what was happening, tech guys would come and bulldoze the healthcare. They say, "Hamare paas tech hai, we'll do it. You guys just be a silent watchers." And then there was problem, like the money would flow out. So the basic idea is very simple. Healthcare guys should lead these things, and that's how we started the thinking. So it's very basic that you are not going to completely start coding and build a system from new. That's what is not expected anyone. Yes, if you're too enthusiastic, you can do that. We also offer what we call as the incubation innovation support to all the students. IHMR also, and even in anyone outside wants to do it, we kind of welcome them through our Orchestral Ventures partnership. So that is available. But then the AI and data science, basically, as the world is shifting, the two things, data is becoming a new oil. Data has so much value, and the core idea of universal healthcare, which has been pushed from last 2, 3 decades, is that out of pocket expenditure should reduce, and India has been signatory, so we are also pushing a lot on that. And that is where insurance tech and other guys come into play. Mind you, this the people with deep pocket in India are the insurance player. Whatever you see on front, they are just the facades that they have built. No one has more money than the insurance guys, be in India, be outside. So health insurance is a bigger player, and it also has a larger market to capture in India. Today, we only have around 13% people having insurance. That would go to 36% in the next 10 years. So this is where, as the scale grow, the insurance guys have to use AI, have to use machine learning to make it profitable and remain profitable in the business. You guys know Acco. Acco has entered into healthcare. They had hired, I don't know, 20 kids from IIHM Bangalore only because they want to focus on the health analytics of the segment. So the main idea of AI data science and the students who come for that is that you should understand the tech. AI should not be a black box for you. When someone throws terms like CNN, that is convoluted neural networks, it looks very difficult. It's nothing. It's basically a system how data is read by the machine and how it understands. So, but then the tech guy will throw it in a very way that it will be bulldozing everyone. So you are the guardians who would avoid this kind of bulldozing by the tech guys and also understand by CNM better hai, YOLO better hai. YOLO is another model. It's just a different cases that they are throwing at us. So that is what you should understand, and you should be able to decide what is best for your organization and what is best for your sector. That's where what we will prepare. But then it's like this: if you want to play a cricket of international, you cannot skip Ranji. So you have to learn Python, but then that intensity is lowered down to a healthcare layer because the teachers, the faculty here are been working with healthcare guys for so long that you will never feel that we are teaching something alien. It will be brought down or brought to the understanding with examples to the healthcare level, and then made in digestible pieces. So that way, it's not going to kind of cause you a tsunami of data for us, because there are colleges, there are institutes which offer these programs, AI data science, not focus on healthcare, but they are offering that they just go there. MBBS guys go there. The complaint, it's too much complex for us. So we try to bring it down to healthcare guys level, but also enable them to understand to nuances. And so that's how the entire program is based. It's again 2 year full AICT approved program. What we are also looking, and this is our first batch has gone to industry internships. There are only kind of 12 kids who have went there for the program. Of those, I think 4 are dentists only, and one is MBBS guy, another pharmacist. All of them were getting multiple offers from companies for internships. All of them had a internship which was with a 15 to 20K stipend. So that way, industry is much more receptive of this program, and there have been many students who kind of um, transition. Initially, there's a struggle, and that period would be there for everyone, but then it eventually becomes much more easier and move on. So that's how we have been designing this AI and data science.
Okay.
There is one other question which I saw. I wanted to answer that
Yes.
if we do this course from a similar course from abroad, and then if we come back to India, would it give a better pay? So I understand this fascination towards having a foreign degree, and at times definitely it does hold a significance over there. But if you're planning to come back to India, please also understand the fact that you will be paying in dollars and you will be earning in INR. So if you're planning to come back to India, it might not be a good idea. Rather than that, the better option would be, if you're planning to probably stay in India or go outside, you can do the degree course over here, and after that you can get different opportunities on the campus itself and via multiple other networking routes that you can go and work in the country of your choice. So the vice versa would be a better option.
So even I also feel that the students who are exposed in India in whatever institution are more skilled and excelling than compared to the foreign
Absolutely.
universities.
Absolutely, it happens. I believe it is the most of the times it is the tag of that foreign brand which kind of like we find it fascinating. Definitely, at sometimes it is true, but most of the times it is majorly the fascination that you go get to live in a different country and foreign tag. But what we forget is, for somebody who is a Canadian resident or a US resident, we are also foreign for them. We are also abroad for them, right? Yeah.
And even
And
the healthcare system for them and the pattern of work that they do is quite different from the Indian scenario.
Absolutely.
Learning from
If
there and
you
then coming
have,
over here.
yes, that can be tricky because if you have plans of, I completely understand there are certain students, like who have family based out of say US or Canada. for them, it does make sense that I'll go there, I'll study, and then I'll continue working over there. But for somebody who is planning to pay this hefty amount of money in dollars, go there, study, and then come back to India and work, that might not be a very smart way to go about it.
Correct. Any other questions that we would like to take?
I'm just sifting through it.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe most of the questions have been answered. The technical questions which were there, they have been answered in the chat box, and we have covered majority of the
Okay.
And in addition to this, if the students want to reach out in the chat box, the contact number and email ID is also there. So
the team has answered a few of the questions of them as well.
And the participants can also reach out individually to us on our LinkedIn profiles, and we'll connect them with the right person and take it ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akash and Dr. Isha, for such an insightful and enriching session. Your experiences, perspectives, and guidance have truly opened up a new horizon for our audience, especially the dental professionals who are at a crossroad looking to diversify and grow beyond the clinical domain. We have learned today that a PGDM in healthcare management is not just an academic pursuit. It's a transformative journey that empowers dentists to become healthcare leaders, innovators, and change makers. If today's webinar inspires even a few of you or all of you to explore healthcare management, public health, or digital health with renewed purpose, then our goal is achieved. Before we close, I encourage you all to stay connected with Goregaon Dental Center and IIHMR Bangalore and follow up on any queries you may have with the team. The path beyond BDS is wide and full of opportunities. You just need the right guidance. On that note, this is Dr. Naval Gule signing off. Thank you once again and have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naval. You're an amazing moderator for the session.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you everyone for participating.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Naval Gule. Thank you, Dr. Akash, and thank you, Dr. Richa, for such a wonderful, insightful session. And thank you all the participants for joining this.
Thank you.
Have a great day, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you. Same to you.